Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be a short explanation video on extreme situation in Bbma trading strategy. There are 4 types of extreme. The first one is when you see MA5 is outside of the Bollinger Band. The second one would be when both MA5 and 10 is outside of the Bollinger Band. And the third situation would be when the candlestick rejects any low BB or high BB. And the last one would be when the candlestick rejects Bbma 50 or 50 exponential moving averages. Please remember guys, all of the above situation only applies in the higher time frame re-entry zone. So let's take a look at this example. So first of all, we need to identify which is the lowest time frame and which is the higher time frame. So in this case, the lowest time frame, which is M15, so this is gonna be TF1, and the middle time frame would be H1, and the third time frame would be H4. So this is gonna be your major trend, so this is gonna be your current trend, so this is gonna be your signal, your setup. Okay, so first of all, we need to identify where is the re-entry zone in the third time frame. So we open up bigger time frame. This is H4. So I need you to identify where is the direction candle or CSAK, candlestick arah kuko. So basically these are the direction candle that you need to identify. Each and every time you see a direction candle, you will find a re-entry zone. When you have identified which is the direction candle, then your next step would be identify where is the re-entry zone. So most of the time, the re-entry zone is where you can find all these 4 types of extreme in a smaller time frame. So first of all, we need to identify where is the re-entry zone in this chart. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 areas of the re-entry zone. So this is the direction candle. So this is the direction candle. So as you can see, we have identified 7 re-entry zone. So let me put a number on this. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is the potential re-entry zone. Okay, potential re-entry zone for each and every direction candle. Okay, so when we have identified where is the re-entry zone in the higher time frame, then you need to lower your time frame to a middle time frame to find where is the extreme. First of all, we take a look at the first zone. We take a look at the first zone. Did you find any example of extreme? Okay, so in this example, we don't find any extreme situation. This is the middle time frame. Okay, then we move on. I will get back to this situation after this. So then we move on to the second zone. So as you can see in the second box area, there is a first example of extreme, the first type of extreme, which is when you see any moving averages, 5 moving averages is outside of the Bollinger Band. So when you see 5 moving averages is outside of a Bollinger Band, so this is the first type of extreme. Okay, first type of extreme. And however, in the previous candle, you can see when the moving averages reject any low BB or high BB. So this is gonna be the third type of moving averages. So this is gonna be the third type of moving averages. Let's make it bigger. Okay, and this would be the first type of extreme, which is when you see 5 moving averages is outside of the Bollinger Band. The reason why you can see this moving averages is outside of the Bollinger Band is simply because there is a shadow. When a candle produce any shadow, that is a possible situation that an extreme might occur. Okay, so most of the extreme is created because of the shadow of the candle. So that's why an extreme is being called or being assumed as an early signal of weakening of retracement trend. So this is gonna be a retracement trend. So this retracement informs us that the retracement is about to end. So that is why we can see an extreme here. And the third type of extreme is when the candle rejects any low or high BB. So you can see the third type of extreme and the first type of extreme. Okay, so let's move on to a third situation. Can you see any extreme in the third situation, the re-entry zone? Can you see any of extreme example? Well, I can't see any extreme situation unless that we can't consider this as an extreme, because first of all, if you ask me, I will not consider this one as an extreme, because we can't see any of moving averages that outside of the Bollinger Band, and we can't see any rejection from the candle except for this one. So however, if you try to look at the Bollinger Band, the lower Bollinger Band is not in a sideway. Okay, it tends to point downward. So when the Bollinger Band points downward, so normally it would give you a strong downtrend until the first breakout of the resistance. Okay, so this is next part. So we're not going to discuss it. So I haven't get back to the first box and the third box, so we're gonna see the first and the third example later on. So let's move on to the fourth re-entry zone. Okay, fourth re-entry zone is here. Okay, it's here. This is the fourth re-entry zone. Whenever you see a direction candle, please identify where is the re-entry zone. The re-entry zone is simply when any candlestick or any price approaching opposite moving averages. So that is the re-entry zone. So whenever you see the price is trying to approach the opposite of moving averages, so shift into a middle time frame, then try to see or try to find where is the extreme. So in this case, we can find the third, I can say almost third, but it is not very clear. A third example, a third type of an extreme is where a candle tries to reject the lower Bollinger Band. So then we move on to the fifth and sixth re-entry zone. So we can't find any of extreme in the fifth and also in the zone number 6. Okay, then we move on to so we move on to number 7. The same goes to number 7. There is no extreme in the re-entry zone that in the H4. So what should we do? Okay, this is the re-entry zone, but we can't find any extreme in the middle time frame. So what should we do? Guys, in this situation, if you can't find any extreme in the lower time frame, in the middle time frame, shift into a lower time frame, which is, if your third time frame would be the H4, your middle time frame would be H1, and your lowest time frame would be M15. So let's take a look. In the M15, what do we find? So let us, yes, in the 7th block, we can see the first type. This is the first type of moving averages. Whenever you find the moving averages is outside of the Bollinger Band, and you can find a third type of extreme when you see any candle that reject the Bollinger Band. Okay, this is two situation. You can find the third type of time frame. So let us move to a sixth re-entry zone. So in this sixth re-entry zone, you can find same goes to the third type of extreme. This is gonna be a third type of extreme. Third type of extreme. This would be, can be considered, still can be considered as third type, but it's kind of, I can say it's so. Okay, so this is a risk move, but this is a very clear example. This candle, guys, this candle, this is the example of third extreme. And you can see here would be, can be considered as a advanced. This is the fourth type of extreme, which is when you see any candlestick that rejects Bbma 50. Okay, so this is gonna be extreme, advanced extreme, which is the fourth type of extreme. And we move on to number 5. This is where each and every zone that you can't find any extreme in the H1, but you can find it in M15. So this is gonna be your third type of extreme, and this is third type of extreme, and this same goes to in the fourth re-entry zone. We already find a third extreme in the middle time frame, so we're not gonna need to focus on the box number 4. And same goes to box number 3, where we have identified no, we have not identified any extreme in the third re-entry zone. So when we move on to the first time frame, M15, yes, we can find a third type of extreme, which is when the candle rejects any low BB or a higher BB. Okay, so this is also gonna be a very good example of extreme, guys. Okay, and the second re-entry zone, we have identified the third and the first type of extreme. And the number 1, okay, this is where the first box, where is the re-entry zone. We can't find any extreme in the first re-entry zone, which is in H4. This is the first re-entry zone that you can't find any extreme in its lower time frame, which is in the middle time frame, but you can find extreme in the first time frame. So this is gonna be your first type of extreme. Your first type of extreme, when you see the moving averages is outside of the Bollinger Band. Okay, well, I think that's all for today, guys. So hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you guys understand my explanation, and thank you and bye bye.